This conference will now be recorded.
So yesterday we saw what is class, object, instance, and also what is abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance. So guys, are you guys are clear with those topics, those terms in Python? Or you want me to take some of the topics again or explain in a different way? See, there is a no. So as you understood, right? Tilly, Sam, Rajita, you guys are clear with all the technical terms we have seen yesterday? Are you guys are comfortable with those terms? Okay, you want different example.
Yes.
Okay. So for which one you want different example? Abstract. Okay. So are you okay with polymorphism, inheritance, and class, object, object creation, instantiation, attributes, variable, all those terms you're comfortable with, Sirisha, apart from abstract?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Okay, what about Tilly, Sam, and Rajita?
Yeah, as far as
Could you guys?
you explained,
Mm-hmm,
I understood.
mm-hmm.
I didn't practice yesterday. I still have
Okay.
practice.
So
Yeah.
today, the thing is, I didn't put any of the notes in the notepad first. So I'll first create my notes, whatever I've taken yesterday, then I'll put it in that Python doc. Go through it. You will get more hang on those. So Sam and Tilly, brief example as summary. Okay. So now let's see some quiz kind of thing. I want you guys, yeah, let's go over it again. Yeah, sure. We can take even one more day also to get over it because that this oops concept is very, very, very important in any of the language. So, what is this dog class? Okay.
Plus,
What is this class? This one? It's a keyword. Okay, it's a keyword to create your class. Like how you use def, define, to create your function. It's a keyword to create your class, and this dog is a class name. Okay. Okay, so you're creating a class. Then what is the species?
class attribute.
Class attribute, global variable inside the class, which is called class attribute. The fancy name is class attribute, but it's nothing but a global variable inside the class, which can be referred anywhere inside the class and anywhere outside the class. Okay. And what is this init method?
Initialization method.
Unit, yeah. Constructor.
Yeah, init method is nothing but a constructor, initialization method constructor, anything you can say. It is the first method you will see inside the class. Whenever you create a class, it is the first method. It's a special method as well because whenever you create your object, Whenever you create your object, you're passing the variables accepted by those method. See here, name and breed is there, so you're passing name and breed. If something else was there, if three parameters are there, you have to pass three parameters. If only one, then you will be passing only one parameter here, because whenever you call dog, it goes to dog and it goes to the init method, and these values are passed and it is assigned. So this is how when this is done, when this line number 3, 4, and 5 are done, your object is created. Okay, so you're telling go to this dog class and go to this init method. You're indirectly telling go to the init method. You need not directly tell it, because it knows. It goes and search for init, and then it goes and creates an object. Okay, so this method is called as soon as you try to create your object. Okay, and we saw class attribute, and a class attribute most often is defined at the top of your class, so that you will know this is a global variable. If it is somewhere between two different methods, it would be little confusing. So always your code should be a readable one. It should be clear to anybody who reads it. So always define your global variable, which is nothing but your class attribute at the top. Okay, and what is the self?
Parameter.
Okay, so
Parameter.
it's a puff. True. So it's the first parameter you will see in any of the methods inside the class. So whatever method you create inside the class, in that method definition, you will see dot self, and even while accessing the variable, you will see dot self dot. Okay, so this should be like, you have to get practice of this. You should always add self as a first parameter in any of the method, even if doesn't apply accept any parameter. Here the bark doesn't accept any parameter. It's not a parameterized method. It is a method without parameter, but still we go and add self. And whenever you want to access any variable, you give self dot name, self dot breed. To access any variable inside the class, you should use self. But coming to outside the class, you need not give self. Here this is the first parameter we are not passing, because Python by default adds self whenever you are creating an object or accessing something outside the class. Okay, so inside the class, self is must. And it doesn't take any argument. I mean, it's not like it's not any keyword. It's a parameter, and it's used in all the class method. So when you see self, you will know those methods are created inside a class and can be accessed by the object of that class. Whenever you create an object, that object can access all these methods. Okay. And one more thing. Okay, what is instance attribute?
My dog. What?
My dog is an object. Okay, it's
Oh,
a instance. I'm
yeah.
asking instance
Instance
attribute.
attributes of name, breed.
Yeah, name
Ah,
breed.
so whatever variable attribute is nothing. It's a fancy word. I'm just teaching that because you will get comfortable with those word attribute. Because in real world, some people might use attribute, and you will be wondering what is that attribute is. So it is nothing but a variable you have inside all your methods. Okay, so whatever this outside the method, what you have is class attribute, because it's global, and whatever you have inside the method, it's called instance attribute. Okay, so here this is an instance attribute, and this is an instance attribute. Inside the method, you are using it as calling it by self dot name, self dot variable name. Outside, you are using object dot variable. Object dot variable outside is always like object dot variable or object dot method. We are not using any method. Okay, so here object dot method. Here in Bark, you don't see open and close bracket, though it is a method, because it accepts nothing. There is no parameter. So instead of giving plain, I mean empty open and close, I can give without open and close bracket also. I can add open and close bracket also. Okay, and okay, so you are
One
clear
doubt.
with class at.
Here self dot name, right, is equal to name. Is it compulsory we should give the same variable? We can change it even like
Line
after
number 4
self.
you're asking.
Yeah, self dot name is equal to name, right?
So here we
Yeah,
are getting the input and you are giving that inputs to some variable.
yeah, this
Correct?
first
Here,
name is the
this first,
variable
here
name.
you can give anything, but whatever you give here, that should be given here, right? So this is how it is saved in memory. So this
Yes.
variable, some value what you are getting, it's saved here, and the same thing has to be given here. You can give
Of
any name here, or you can change anything. This you can give different uh,
that and this should be
parameter.
same. The parameters of the parameters there and the self dot the parameter should be same.
Correct.
After is equal to, I'm asking like after equal to
After is
sign.
equal to no, whatever you are getting as an input, this input is given here, right? So this and this
Oh,
should be same. The input, whatever you're getting, that input you are saving into a variable. Here I'm saving to the same variable. Here you can give different also, but whatever you give here, that you should give here. Correct?
okay, okay. Mhm.
Okay. So again, one more thing is you saw how to access the instance attribute. Instance attribute is nothing but the attribute inside the method, inside the class. The methods of class will have some variable, right? Variable name. Those are called instance attribute. And that attribute, how do you access? You do it by object name, your object name, whatever the object you created, dot a instance attribute name. So here also this your dog and my dog is also a variable because you are assigning something to it, right? So this is also called variable, but this variable is called object, this variable is called class, and this
Yes.
variable is called instance attribute. Okay. So now you saw how you can access the instance attribute, how you can access class attribute. There are two ways to access your class attribute. One is by using class name.
Class
Class name
names.
dot class attribute. The other way is object name dot class attribute. Okay. So the object can access both class attribute and instance attribute. Okay. And next question is how do you create object? What is the general format to create an object?
Object name is equal to class.
Okay, object name. Just so here in line number 8, I'm creating an object.
Object.
Object name, some name you can give, user defined name is equal to class name and open and close bracket. Inside the open and close bracket, if there are any parameter you have to pass, then you can pass them. Okay, so this is how you create an object. So here my dog is an object. Using this object, you can access this variable, this variable, this variable. You can access this method. Everything, whatever is there inside the class, you can access everything using your object. Okay, clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What is instantiation?
Passing some value to variable.
Instantiation is
Is
object
it
creation.
update create?
You're creating an object. Since object is called as instance,
Instance.
so another name for object is instance. Instance of a class. Okay, so it is instance of a class. It's an example of a class. Class is just a template, like a resume template. The template has no meaning. You can download multiple templates from online, but you have to fill in your own detail. So then it becomes Tilly's resumes or Sirisha's resume or Rajita's resume. Similarly, so your resume is called instance and the general format is called class. Okay. So this is an instance, this is an object, this is an instance. Both are same. Okay. So when you create an object, it's called creating an object. It is also called instantiation because your instance is created. And this is a init method or this is a constructor or it is yeah constructor because it is called when you construct your object, when you create your object. Okay. Constructor is a technical term they use in the real world. And Why these bark is called method? Because this is a function. Till a few days back, this is how we create our function, right? A def bark, a function name. Why it is called method here all of a sudden? Okay, so whenever you create a function inside a class, whenever you define a function inside a class, immediately it is called method. That's all, nothing else. Okay. Whenever you, it's like a normal function, you can declare it. The class method is also like a normal function. Um, you can give input and then you can process the input, but the only difference is you will have self inside it. Self is the first parameter. And why do we have method? Because we call method in a different way. For example, have mentioned this multiple times. Um, so print is a function, correct? So you call print and you give something inside it. So there is some rules that you have to give something inside using a double quote. Whenever you give something inside print, the same thing is printed here. And input is a function. So here, the same similar way you are going to give something inside double quotes, but what it does, it prints this line and expects the input from the user. And after the input is given, after the enter button is clicked, the input is then copied to a different variable. Okay. So, but you're calling it directly, right? Input, open bracket, close bracket, print, open bracket, close bracket, or length. If you want to find the length of some string or list, you're passing the parameter. Here, the parameter is some object, some data type, integer, string, or list, something you are passing and you're finding. But these are functions, okay? But let me show you an example of method. So I'm using num dot split. See, this is a method. Since this is a method, you are giving dot split. You're not calling like this. You cannot call like this split and pass the parameter num, correct? And also dot pop. You can't directly call pop of list. You cannot directly call pop of list. You just always should call object name. So it some list you would have created, some name you would have given to your list, right? LST. So here dot pop, because when you give lst equal to, so here this open and close bracket is a class name for list. So whenever you give this, your list is created and the init method of those class. So imagine there is a class called a list. That's how it's created inside Python, right? Some class is already created, you are using it. So this is your object name and this is a class name. So now the object is created and the init method of the class is having some parameter. So you can give any param, I mean it's like k arg or star arg. You can pass multiple parameter as you want. So here I'm passing some parameter. So here now my object is created. Now the class is also having some method called pop and some method called append. So they have taught us, they have given a documentation. See, this is a method for list, and when you do this, this is how happens. They didn't reveal what is their code, but they have given the rules and they have given how it is going to work. So based on that, we use it and we make use of them and achieve our solution for the problem, right? Similarly, when this is a method because we are calling it by dot bark, correct? So any function created inside a class is called method, and that method first parameter will always be self. Even it doesn't accept any parameter, it should have one parameter called self. Clear?
It's like something behave. We are giving methods like some behavior of the
Yeah,
class.
correct. Some behavior. So behavior was like a example I have given so that you will understand. Because like for example, if somebody is running, if your uncle is owning a restaurant and suddenly he tells, okay, I want to retire, take care of my restaurant. So now you have to do multiple work in your restaurant, right? You have to be a uh, receptionist. So you have to welcome people coming inside the restaurant, and then you have to wait them. You have to wait and ask what they want, and then you have to go and cook, and then you bring it back and give them back. And then after they have done, when they are about to leave, you have to give them the check and they will be paying you. So here you are acting as a receptionist, cook, waiter, billing person, all those things, right? So you find it very difficult. Okay, I can't do everything. I can't handle all the job. Then you decide, okay, let me put one person for each of the work. Let me hire a receptionist for my restaurant, and let me hire a waiter. Let me hire a cook. So the waiter is going to, okay, so let me hire a cook. Then later, what you will do, you will manage everybody. You are just managing all the people inside your restaurant. So here, for example, if you have a method, if you have a class called cook, so what is this state? So what he has, that is called variable. What is his current state? So he's a he's a he knows that he's a waiter, and what he does. So what he has actually, he has n number of plates. Okay, he has n number of plates, water, everything in his station. So he has all those things. He has a pile of plates and a jug of water and everything he has. Okay, so this all he has. So let's consider these all variable. And what is his behavior? He waits. Okay, so he waits for the customer to decide and give him some order. Then what does he do? Then he inform that to the cook. So he informed. So all those verb are called method or behavior. Anything you can say, but behavior is not a real life term. Behavior was, I have given that just for an example. So all the verb, he is waiting, he is informing the cook. Then later what he is doing, he is serving. All the variable or method, all the noun or variable. Sorry, I'm confusing, I believe. So here, noun variables. Okay, so he has number of plates and number of glasses. I mean, he has glasses, but he has multiple glasses. That's why I'm mentioning the number of glasses, and a bill book. He has all those things. Okay, and verb. Verb is he will wait. He will. Some action is verb, right? So this is also called behavior. Okay, he will wait, he will inform the cook, he will serve, and then later he bills. He also bills the customer and uh, pay to the management. Whatever he gets from the customer, he then later goes and settles to the management. He goes and gives to the owner. Right? He does all these work. So these work, action items, behavior, verb are called methods. The remaining are noun are called variable. Okay. So by this, you will know what all the behavior of cook, I mean, behavior of a waiter. He will wait, he will inform cook. I mean, he will take order, he will place the order to the cook, and then he will serve, he will bill, and he will pay to the management. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, cool. So in general, classes define a blueprint for object. Objects are instances created from classes. Instantiation is a process of creating object. Class attributes are global variable created inside the class and shared among all the instances of the class. And instance attributes are variable created inside the method. Methods are the functions created inside the class, and all those methods will have a first parameter self, and they are called using dot operator. They are called by object name dot the method name. Clear? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then what example we saw? So here, yeah, this m count is a class attribute, a variable, global variable, and this is init method, special method, constructor. You will have self, and you have another methods, and then you're creating employee one, object one, and this is object two. Then you're accessing a method using your object, any method inside the class, and also you're accessing the global variable of a class, which is nothing but class attribute. So here, every line of this code you understood? Any single doubt you ask me? Clear with all the lines? Guys,
Yes, yes. For me, it's
you
clear.
understand this and you can write such code on your own, right? If I ask you to create some class and have some, you guys have done the assignments. I believe you can write your own piece of class and object, right?
Yes.
How comfortable are you guys in creating a class and method and object and accessing the variables and methods using your object? How comfortable are you? Uh, for if I give the max 10, max rating is 10, what is your rating? You give yourself. 8. Okay, 8. Sam, Rajita. Okay. Um, okay. But I don't know. I'm very confident on you guys. If you ask me to give me some rating, I will give 9.5 to everybody because after seeing your assignments, because I thought nobody will complete question number 3 and you will come back and ask me how to write it, or you will only give me a pseudocode. But I didn't expect everybody to answer it, but you did that well.
Anu, can you explain method overriding and overwriting?
Okay, so yeah, we will see that. So let's see inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So first, method overriding I will take. For example, you have a class called animal and you have some method inside it. It has init method and it has other method. And you have one more class called dog. So you understand the difference, right? Animal is a um,
Base
superset
class.
of all the animals. Yeah. So why I have animal and dog here is animal is something like a superset of all the animals, right? It's something higher level, which will all the other animal, dog, cat, lion, everything comes under animal category, right? So that is why I've kept it as super class and this is a subclass. So this is called base class. This is called derived class. So from the animal only a dog came, right? So here I have one more class, and this class is actually derived from base class, which means it also trying to use all the powers of the base class. Okay, so it has some, so it is trying to use base class and also it has its own fun behavior. For example, dog is an animal. It is also like it lives in forest like any other animal. Ignore the street dogs. So it doesn't have any shelter or house. So I'm talking about the forest animals. So it lives in forest by any other animal. It goes and hunts for its food like any other animal. It drinks water from river or pond like any other animal. It doesn't sleep under any shelter. It can sleep on a open ground like any other animal, right? And it doesn't talk human language like any other animal. But each animal have some unique characteristic, right? So dogs like bones, cat usually have milk and other kind of meat, and dog, how it talks, it barks, right? How it communicate with other dog, it barks, and how communicate with other cat, it meows. So this is a unique characteristic for each animal. Though I am trying to derive dog from the base class, if I have one more class called cat, how does it talks, communicate? If there is some method called communicate here there is some method called communicate. I will tell they will use their mouth for communication. They will produce some sound for communication. Only that I can tell under animal. But when I come to class dog or class cat, I will tell dog will bark, and lion will roar, and cat will meow. So I will tell this is how they communicate with their their family, within their family of animals. Correct. So they have some general characteristic. So all those general characteristic I'll put it inside the base class, and all the peculiar unique characteristic I'll put it in their own class. Correct. So here, overriding method means, so this method, who am I, is already there inside this class, super class also, which is a base class, and also inside your derived class. But here it is animal and here it is dog. This is called method overriding. So for example, if you have a variable name and you are assigning something, okay, and if you are doing you want to change the name, you are reassigning. It's called reassigning, right? I'm giving Rajita, it's sorry for the spelling mistake. So here I'm reassigning, but here the same thing, but you are the same method, you're using the same method name. This is overriding this method, which means it's kind of a reassigning. It replaces animal by dog. It removes animal from that place, who am I, and then it has dog value. Whenever you create a one more class called class cat, which derives from animal, base class animal, then again you might have one more method called OMI inside it, but there you will have cat. The cat will be overriding this animal, correct? This is called overriding. So you can always override your parent class method. One reason for overriding parents method is because you want a special or different functionality in your subclass, right? Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Anu, one more doubt here.
Mm-hmm.
If you create one more class to cat and take animal,
Mm.
if you give the same name who I am,
Mm.
then which derived class it will take?
Okay. Which class it will get? It depends on how you create your object. Class is just a template. Nothing
Oh,
can be done using class.
okay,
Correct?
okay. Mm-hmm.
I'll show a different example. Let's create one more code. So here, if I have one more class called cat, then I'll give c is equal to cat, right? When I give c dot who am I, it will call the
Okay,
method inside that
it's the
particular.
okay derived class method. Okay, yeah,
Correct, yeah.
got
So it
got
always, all your function always depends on the
over.
object you create. It nothing is there with the class. Okay, so let's create. mm, One more thing I wanted to show was, where was it? I saw somewhere. Okay, there are two special methods in OOPS. It is called vars and directory. Okay, so what this special method does, if you give vars of my dog, it will give you all the instance attributes, instance variable, and if you give dar, it will give all the class attributes along with the instance attribute. It will give a list of all the class and instance attribute. It will be mostly in the dictionary format. The var will give in dictionary format. So when the instance attribute are, here I have given vars of my dog. For this object, give me all the instance attribute. Name is buddy and breed. They have only two instance attribute, two variable. And for your dog, it has only two variable. And dir will give all the attributes. So here you have variable, this is class variable, this is instance variable, this is a method, and you have init method somewhere here. The remaining, don't ask me what are they. They are there by default in Python. It's already there. Where are they? Init should be there. Yeah, init method and class name, class keyword, everything is there. Whatever is there, it is going to give. So this name is a string object, right? So that is why you see str. And you have a subclass. You don't have a subclass here, okay. So all those things will be given by the special method. So here I have a base class shape. I don't have any logic inside it. I just wanted to demo what is base class and the derived class. And here you have one more class, and you know this is a derived class because in bracket you're calling some other, you're given a name of some other class. So here you know it's a derived class, right? And it has init method, and you're getting a radius, and you're calculating area. Okay. So circle is also shape, square is also a shape. Here you want radius, but here you want length. Here to calculate area, this is a formula. Pi r square, pi value and radius into radius r square. But here it is different. Length into length square. I don't know, maybe. So here for square, yeah, length into breadth. Length and breadth are same here in square. That is why length into length. Okay. And triangle, the area is different. Base into height. 1 by 2 of base into height. So here all the shapes belong to a class called, all the shapes, triangle, square, circle, belongs to a superclass called shape, but they have their own characteristic. Every other shape area formula is different. Circle cannot have length, square cannot have radius, right? They have their unique value, unique behavior, unique attributes, right? So here you understood this, right? Why we are deriving from a base class. And here area is a method used everywhere, right? There are multiple area method. This is called method overriding. So usually method overriding is when you have one method name in a class and you have the same method name in your subclass. When you have same method name between all the subclass, it's not method overriding because this is different from this. This will not about this, the circle will not know about square, square will not know about circle, but circle will know about shape, right? So if shape is also having area and circle is also having area, then it is called method overriding. You are replacing some formula given here, that is replaced by the formula given here in your derived class. This is called method overriding. Okay. So here I'm creating an object. Here circle is an object. Which class it belongs to? Circle. So when I pass 5, it is taken as a radius because when you give something into circle, the init method is having radius, so your 5 is saved as radius, and the area will return output of this formula. Square is created from the class called the square, and this object is created from the class called triangle. Since a triangle needs two input, you are giving all those parameter here.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So without going into too much of the math, what happens when you have a triangle that's an equilateral triangle where the formula to find the area is different from something
Sorry.
like, so okay, I guess I will go into the math. So for something like an isosceles triangle, you could do you use the formula 1/2 base times height, right?
Correct.
However, for an equilateral triangle, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's the one of the sides squared times the square root of 3 all divided by 4, right? It's a different
Mm-hmm.
formula.
Correct.
So how would you handle that um with this program
Okay, so
where
either what I
where that
so
oh
here
go
the
ahead.
formula itself, correct? Yeah, here the formula itself is different. So the shape is different, right? Triangle is not equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle, the sides are same. It will have same height. Two sides will have same height, right? That is called equilateral triangle. But triangle is different. So if you draw some L, if you draw L and connect the dots in L, that is also called triangle, but it's not equilateral triangle. So here you can create one more class, but you have two different triangles. They are normal triangle only, but their base and height are different. You have triangle 1, triangle 2. Their base is different. One triangle is small, one triangle is very big. In that case, you can create one more object. Here you can give one more object and you can call the same class, and here you can give different value, right? But triangle and equilateral triangle are not same. If you want, you can create one more class, or you can write a function here. Something will tell that if base and height are equal, then use this formula. If base and height are not equal, then use this formula. You can give two formula. Either you can go by that way, or you can go by creating new class. But you can have multiple triangles. You can have multiple objects for the same class.
Could you have another another area method? I think is my question.
Another area method. Oh, inside the same class. No, you cannot have that.
No? Okay.
No. So here you can write some if condition inside the area method. So if base and height are equal to this, consider it as an equilateral triangle and apply that formula. Otherwise, apply this formula. You cannot have two different, two method with same name inside the same class. You cannot have that. Overriding is just having different, same method name in different places, like in superclass and subclass. But I can still access this area by calling shape.area. Or I can create an object for shape, and with that object, I can still access this area. But if I access this area, which is area of circle, which is nothing but a base class of shape, this will override this. So overriding is a technique which will allow you to have a same name of method between your superclass and subclass. That's all. You can have a same method name. It allows you to have a same method name. Otherwise, it's not possible. Having a same method name is not possible.
In the base class also we should have init method.
Yeah, base class also we should have init method, but
In the derived classes we don't need. In the base class it is compulsory, right?
yeah, in base class it is needed, and the derived class it's not needed. So that's what we saw in abstraction. In
Abstraction.
derived class, you don't have the init method because it directly calls a base class, and base class has init method. So it assigns the name whenever the dog is called, and it indirectly calls animal, which is having a init method, and a name is given. So that's why you pass name here.
Yeah, the program you shown in that it is not there, so I got out.
No, no, no.
Next, shape program.
Uh-huh. So you can do in this way also. Why I'm having a different init method here is it depends on your use case. So abstraction in general way is like you have here you understood, right? Here every animal will have some name. So it's a
Yeah.
common functionality. So I'm having that init method here, and to create my own object, I'm passing the name here. Even if I don't have, it is anyway calling me. So it's like saving my space and time, right? I need not write one more init method. But in this case, here, the shape, I mean the coordinates, what you call in different shape are different. Here, circle you call it as a radius. Here you call it as a base height, length and breadth, and here you call it as a height and base. So that is why I cannot have a common init method. That is why I'm having a different init method. You can go by this way or you can go by this way. It depends on your use case. What is your use case and what is your problem, and what solution you want out of it. Let me show a different example. There's not a completed code, but you will get an idea, more understanding. So here, this is something for shopping cart. You are writing some e-commerce website, you are writing some code. So you have different product, right? You can have one you can have one super class called product, because you will have multiple classes. In e-commerce, they doesn't just handle product, they handle sellers. Each product will be coming from different sellers, and each sellers again will sell different product. They will not just sell iPhone, they will sell something else also. So in your e-commerce website, you have to handle product, you have to handle orders, you have to handle sellers, and you have to make the transactions. So for products, I will have one superclass called products, and I can have multiple subclass called electronic product, book product, clothing product. Okay, some features will be common for all the product, right? So for example, if I have to write, if I don't have a base class, consider I'm writing electronic product. Okay, electronic product. Here for electronic product, what all methods I can write: name and list, show how many lists is available in the system, so how many lists are placed, or how many orders are placed this week. Okay, and how many are from same seller, how many are from seller one. Okay, how many are returned, how many products are returned. But this name and list of items and how many order placed and how many have returned, these are common, right? If I don't make a super class called product, and I'll just put p, okay, for product. So if I don't have a super class, then what would I do? I have to do is electronic product, I have to write all the method inside it. I have to create all this method. And for book product, okay, I have to rewrite the same code, correct? And clothing product, I have to rewrite the same code. So a product list goes on in a in a e-commerce website, right? Grocery. And inside clothing, you will have multiple things called women clothing, kids clothing, men clothing. And inside women clothing, you have multiple items like sari, salwar, ethnic wear, some western wear, all those things. A list goes on. I mean, I cannot, I mean, in an hour, you cannot tell all the list, right? So instead of rewriting the same piece of code again and again, your code will have 10,000s of lines. So to save this, what they have done, they have created a parent class which will have all the common thing, but electronic product will have some specific behavior. Okay, so when you describe a product a book, when you describe a book, what all you can do describe is you can tell who is the author. Apart from seller, you should know what is the who is the author. In electronic product, you will not have author, you will have a brand. Okay, and in clothing also you will have brand. Here nothing called brand in book, right? And again you will have number of pages in the book. You will not have pages in electronic brand or clothing brand. Here you will have material type. So these are their specific unique functionality, but there are some common functionality that I'll group under parent class and I'll inherit all those subclass. Correct? But some functionalities might be common, but for example, every animal eat. It is a common, it is a, I mean, every animal communicate. They create some sound from their throat. It is a common thing, but each animal does it in a different way. Dog barks, lion roars, correct? And cuckoo coos. So it differs. So when you feel that you have a common thing also, but only for few products it differs, then you can do overriding. You can have a method here, but still you can override in your subclass. So here what I'm doing. So consider there is some classes are created above. Ignore them. But this is a class name, you know, right? Because this is your object and this is your class name, and you're passing some parameters. Here you are telling book name and book price. Price is common for everybody. And this is a subheading of the book, and then author of the book, and which category the book is. Again, you will have category. Here you will have, again in clothing also you have category like women, men, sari, and western wear, and Indian wear, all those things. Okay, and then here you have categories programming. Other categories are fiction, non-fiction, mystery, thriller, kids book, all those things categories are there. Again, you have here color. Color is not there for book. So they have some unique behavior. So I guess you got an idea why we have class, subclass, because otherwise your program will be lengthy. The same code you have to rewrite multiple times. It increases the efficiency and reduces your effort. Add to item is common for everybody. When you give add to item, it is going to reduce one from the stock. When you have a list of stocks, you will know how many iPhones you have in Amazon. Maybe there are 12 iPhone. When you add it to the cart, what happens? 12 goes to 11, and then that one product is going to get into your cart, and your cart number of items in the cart is increased plus one, right? So add item is common for everybody. It goes and sees what is the stock number, reduces one from that, and what is your cart number, adds on there. Correct? How you did for account balance thing program. Similarly, so add item, cart item is, since it is a common thing, you have some class called shopping cart. It's common for all these product, and that shopping cart will have add item, and it can work for all the products. So you will be written some code in add item, right? And for the method called add item, you will have written some logic, how to reduce one from stock and how to add one to the cart. That logic you need not rewrite for all these electronic product, book product, clothing product. You can have a common class and common method, and there are ways to refer those common method. That concept is called inheritance, inheriting the methods of a superclass by a subclass. Clear?
Yeah, it's clear for me, Anu. So,
Mhm.
like method overriding is supported in Python, but method overloading is not supported, right?
Method overloading. Okay, let me show you another example. Suppose we have created a vector class to represent two-dimensional vectors, okay? So what happens when you use plus operator to add them?
Uh,
Python will really yell at you because it cannot add the vectors. You could, however, define add method. Here you can have add method in your class to perform vector addition. You cannot do it in your SGI. Okay, you can have one more method to do that particular operation.
Anu,
So here,
why number line underscore add underscore?
yeah, this
Um,
I will take. This I will tell later why we have. These are some overloading methods we have.
okay, with different parameters.
Yeah, so there are five overloading methods we have. Init we know that, and then delete and add, string, compare. It compares the object. So here you see, for example, so overloading is not supported, but you can do in this way. For example, this is object one and this is object two, correct? Object one and object two. But you are trying to add both object. How is that possible? That's not possible, right? You cannot add both the objects. So that is why you have this overloading method called add, which will add two different objects. So you can do v1 and v2. Otherwise, it's not possible if you don't have this add method. So who asked whether Python supports method overloading?
It means
Okay, you know what is method overloading? Could you tell people what is method overloading? Because I never thought method overloading. I never went into that subject at all. But you are asking out.
so I was know little bit in Java, so
Okay, so what is
yeah,
method overloading in Java?
method with the same names with the different arguments is method overloading in
Correct,
Java.
yeah, correct. So what happens in Java is mm, example add 1, comma 2, comma 3, and you want one more add 1, comma 2. So whenever you call this method and give two variables, I mean two parameter, then it will go and do this. And whenever you call, this is actually it's not 1, 2, 3. Let's consider it as a ABC. So for example, here it is ABC. Here you have A comma B. So in this case, what does when you call a method called add and you just give two parameter, then it will for sure it will go and call this add only. It will not be confused. So Python does not support method overloading. This is called method overloading. I mean, you can instead of calling, you can call any method I mean, both are having same name, but since the number of parameter is different, the programming language knows which add to call based on the input you give. So Python does not support method overloading in the same way as other language like how C and Java, C++ or Java does. In Python, you cannot have multiple method with the same name, differing only in the number of parameter you have. When you define multiple methods with the same name in Python class, only the latest defined method with the name will be available. The old will be overridden. You have two names, two method names, same name. The first will be removed and the second will only be available in the memory. So you can only the second one will be called. So it is kind of a overwriting, like reassigning kind of thing. You have defined add and again you are defining add. The second method only will be available. The latest defined method only will be available. But why do we have to have this? Because here, why in Java they have this method overloading? Because they wanted to call a method, but they are not sure. I mean, for one functionality they want three parameter, but other functionality they want two parameter. Correct? They are not sure how many. They cannot define a common parameter functionality, right? But in Java, in Python, what you can do? You can give star args. So here you are telling, give me any number of parameter, I will do work for you. If you want to add three numbers, give me three numbers. I'm going to add you. I will write a for loop for until I get all the input. I'm going to add one after the other. If you want to add only five numbers, then give me five parameters inside when you call this method called add, right?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes or no? So the method overloading is not needed actually in Python. Why method overloading was there in Java and C++? That is because they don't have this args. So if they wanted to have add with for three numbers, they should define a separate method. If they wanted to add two numbers, they have to create a separate method for that. They are doing it as a two different functionality and they are defining two different method and you will decide which one to call based on the number of inputs you want to pass. It will go and pick the correct method and execute it in Python. It will not do so. It will save only the latest method available, the last defined method. But your solution, the problem for why the method overloading was created for Java is you cannot pass dynamic parameter. You have to define how many parameters the user can give, and based on the number of parameters you are defining different method. That problem is solved by that star arg keyword. A single method can handle both three parameter, two parameter. Why do we have then why do we need for two different method with the same name but different parameter? That is not needed in Python. So that is why method overloading is not supported. But the real problem is to handle same method, same operation with different parameter. That is solved by using star args.
Thank
Correct?
you, Anu. Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Okay. Ignore this example. Maybe I'll tell you what is SCR and add all those things. But method overloading, you got the answer, right? For method overloading question.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. So I guess today we can wind up our session here. I'll try to put all the notes into the Python doc. You can refer again. So if we are very confident about class, object, polymorphism, inheritance, abstract, we will go for the next topic. Otherwise, we will see some more example tomorrow also. So you guys go through the document and let me know whether we can move on to the next topic or you wanted to see more example. Because usually I give some assignment I have given at the start only. You have completed the assignment. We have three different programs, and we have seen some general format program, and you also written three different programs solving some problem. So I'm like, I like, why do we have to see some more problem? I'm thinking in that way. But if you feel like you wanted to see some more problem, please let me know in the group chat so that I'll prepare some different examples for you to explain on Monday. Otherwise, we will move on to the next topic. So go through the doc and let me know what we have to do.
Okay. You can give some more assignment.
Some more assignment. Okay, then I'll do one thing. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to create some assignment because first I have to think of a problem, then I have to find a solution. Only then I'll give that as an assignment. Give me one more day. I will, tomorrow is weekend off for me. So I'll create some more assignment and I'll mail to you guys. I'll inform it over a group chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Same to you. Same to everybody. Have a nice weekend.